Russian forces have withdrawn from key eastern townships as a rapid Ukrainian counterattack makes further gains. Ukrainian officials have said that troops have entered Kupiansk. That's a vital eastern supply hub for Russian forces on Saturday. However, the Russian Defense Ministry has then said that its troops have retreated from nearby Izium to allow them to regroup. Now, the ministry has also confirmed the withdrawal of soldiers from a third key town, Balakliva, in order to bolster efforts on the Donetsk front. Now, the big question is if indeed the Russians are making a tactical pause to withdraw or are withdrawing as part of a tactical plan, why are they leaving heavy tanks, armored personnel carriers and a lot of heavy weaponry behind? Some would suggest that they are in fact fleeing. As Ukraine reclaims its territory from the Russians, Ukrainian soldiers you saw there singing the national anthem to celebrate the moment, with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky stating that his country's armed forces had reclaimed some 2,000 square kilometers of their land. Well, in approximately a week's time, it appears that the Ukrainian armed forces have recaptured 2,500 square kilometers of territory in the east and south of Ukraine, which they had lost to Russian forces. Let's bring up the maps in what is now being broadly reported as a stunning reversal of the ground situation in the country and the biggest setback for Russian forces since they had to retreat from the area north of the Ukrainian capital Kyiv. Does this mark the beginning of the end of the war is a big question. What is clear is that Ukrainian forces have taken key towns, as we'll explain to you here. First, this is the area we are talking about, the east and the south of the country, marked in pink and in red. The areas which we'll show you being circled are areas where there's been heavy fighting. The pink areas are areas taken over by the Russians when the war began. The striped areas are those that they've illegally controlled before February this year. Now, this is further north. Here you can see the area south of Kharkiv, the second largest Ukrainian city. This includes the towns of Izium, Kupiansk as well. Fighting intense over here. The sense is that the Ukrainians have started retaking these areas almost completely. Now this is a close-up of some of the areas where fighting has taken place a little bit to the south, including the areas of Marinka, Avdiivka, Bakhmut and the very important town of Sloviansk, which is considered a key point for the Russians to actually supply soldiers on this side. So if the Ukrainians have retaken that town, Sloviansk, to the top of the screen, then that's bad news for the Russians. Further south, well to the south and to the west, near the Ukrainian port of Mykolaiv, there's major fighting taking place on the Kherson front. That's a major Ukrainian city. It's under Russian control. The goal is to get Kherson back and then push further south. Along with Kherson, there's fighting in the Davydiv Brid area to the east as well. And all those areas which are encircled are areas where fighting is taking place. Finally, let's play out this animated package showing the changes on the ground over the last couple of days. This clearly shows the Ukrainian advance into Russian-held areas. In blue, you see the Ukrainian areas gradually expanding. This is what it was. Then over the last few days, the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, the 9th, the 10th onwards of this month, you can see the Ukrainians regain a great deal of their territory in the east of their country. Well, let's take a look at what the Ukrainian president had to say.
Рух наших воїнів на різних напрямках фронту продовжується. На цей час в рамках активних дій від початку вересня вже звільнено близько 2000 кілометрів нашої території. Російська армія цими днями демонструє найкраще, що вміє. Показує спину. І зрештою це непоганий вибір для них втікати.